Welcome to Truth, Health, and Wellness with St. John's Nutrition. I am Courtney Lynham, and I am joined by Dr. Matt and Deborah St. John. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for inviting me to be with you on the show tonight. I was very excited. I know there's a lot of questions and a lot of things that we get to dive into. First, I want to ask how your week has been.
Well, it's been very busy at St. John's.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, we've seen so many clients today. We had one person after the other. What were most of the things you were seeing today?
A lot of stress, a lot of people dealing with things that are from environmental issues, in their bodies. They're kind of environmental toxins, we'll say, that are leading to their problems, and just a lot of depression, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. I caught a couple of people that you could tell they came to me more to talk to me today than anything, and that's fine. We do that a lot, but it was just a lot more about their job, about their bosses, about the various stresses that are in their lives. But
it wasn't me.
Yeah, exactly.
People need to talk.
People do need to talk.
And it's we've had a lot of that today, and in the past week. So it's been busy.
Well, I need to get on that schedule because it is. I mean, life can be a lot, and we're working hard and we're all of the things.
Absolutely, it all builds up.
Well, and then you do things where you work hard during the week, and then you get excited about something on the weekend. So you hit your weekend like a maniac, and you run and go and do. Well, Monday comes, and you have to start back at work or school or or both or whatever, and you didn't rest over the weekend. Well, when do you catch up on the rest? Well, never. So that's how people get exhausted, and I'm as guilty as anyone. But we have to do things to take care of our bodies, and we have to make sure that we're getting the amount of sleep that we need, at least for our bodies. And people have different needs. I mean, I don't have the same needs as Deborah does. She needs about like 8 hours, and I need like 6 hours. And so that extra 2 hours can make a big difference.
It's a big deal for me.
Yeah, and so she spends, I think, her first hour of sleep actually unconscious while I'm still awake, and then we kind of do a little ritual in the morning. So it works out pretty well. But if I try to sleep 8 hours, I'm just laying there thinking. I can't get the thoughts out of my mind. I feel guilty for laying there, but not this one.
No. Well, you have to listen to your body.
Exactly.
That's one of the things that we were talking about before we started on the show. I think I asked you so many questions beforehand, so thank you.
It's fine. You got us warmed up.
It's so interesting to me.
I will mention this. There is an 11-year age difference between us two. So as you age, you actually have less sleep requirements.
Okay.
And so for most people, because your activity level normally decreases a little bit. And so that 11 years of age difference does make my sleep pattern a little different than hers. I remember I had a lady one time, and her husband was actually a professor of mine in college in music. And I've really just loved this lady and her husband. They were just precious people. Well, he had passed away, and I was still seeing her as a patient, and she kept coming to me for sleep problems. And so week after week and month after month, and we were at it for like about a half of a year, when she's trying this and she's trying that. She's just like, every morning I just keep waking up about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I can't go back to sleep. And I said, well, we need to work on that. So we kept looking at everything, looking at, did she have a melatonin deficiency? Did she just need herbs? Did she just need a good herb tea? So finally, after about 6 months, I asked her, I said, what time do you go to bed? Now, I wish I'd asked that question a long time ago, because she told me, well, I'm in bed every night by 8 p.m.
Oh.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. She was getting 8 hours of sleep by sleeping until 4 o'clock in the morning, and which she really didn't even need, because once again, she was in her 80s. And so we figured it out then. I basically said, hey, wake up, either go to bed at 8 o'clock and wake up at 4 and start doing something, or stay up another couple of hours and just sleep till most people sleep. So you never know.
Changing those sleep patterns.
If we got up at 4, we would get a lot done.
That's what I was thinking.
If we got up at 4, you would need to institutionalize me.
I wouldn't know how to go to bed at 8, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
That's the thing.
In the Amazon jungle, we were talking about before the show, we were talking about how when we lay down and go to bed, you get used to the sounds of the wildlife. And let me tell you, it's a lot of wildlife. I mean, thousands of just hundreds of thousands of creatures. I mean, everything from the crickets to the frogs to the 40 different types of frogs, the monkeys, everything else. Birds and everything. So then 6:30 in the morning comes around, and you're laying there and you've had a big day in the Amazon beforehand, you're exhausted. but you cannot sleep in. There's no way you're going to sleep in the Amazon. Why? Because all the nocturnal animals shut up and all the non-nocturnal animals get loud. So everything changes, and all of a sudden you have this, like a bird that sounds like it's, it's a pterodactyl, in morning, and you can't just lay there and just, and sleep in. So anyway, we're talking about that. But sleep is important. Sleep is as important almost as our nutrition. And we think about nutrition as being important to our life and our walk, but we really don't think about sleep as much. I mean, what you sleep on, how you sleep, the air that you're breathing in while you're sleeping, all those things matter.
You're in that one spot for 8 hours or so,
Absorbing.
of the day. You're nowhere for that long
Right.
during the day.
Right. And you're breathing in whatever is in your bedroom. You're not sweating normally, unless you're in the Amazon. You're not sweating, you're not sneezing, you're not urinating, you're not defecating, you're not doing anything, you're not eliminating. So you're literally just laying there absorbing whatever is in your environment. So that's why so many people are getting sick. They're getting sick from their environment. They think that they're getting sick from their external, we were talking earlier about how, environmentally we're not exactly in the strongest area. We have a lot of Superfund sites here with the EPA and such in our region. But at the same time, that's one thing, that's our environment. But how many people are actually sick, not because of that, but because of the environment, the mold, the mildew, the problem within their home.
The Wi-Fi routers.
Yeah, just by taking a computer like this and having your router over here and you sleeping between the two, what do you think is going to happen? They've done tests and scans where they have plants that won't grow or that die simply being put between a router and another Bluetooth item, and yet, or Wi-Fi item, and then they turn around and they, what do people think happens to them when they lay?
Sleep for 8 hours.
Yeah, so we're trying to convince people and to really work on, getting the technology out of your bedroom. Put your phone, we know you need your phone for the alarm, but put the phone that you need for people to call you out of your room to where you can still hear it outside of your room, but or turn it on airplane mode. Turn the devices that are in your bedroom on airplane mode so that you don't have the EMFs, killing you all night long.
Or to get an old school alarm clock.
Alarm clocks are fine. They still sell them at Walmart.
They sure do.
I never thought of that, and I do sleep with my phone right beside my bed, and I have like a little sleep app that has like sleep sounds because I'd love to have the Amazon sound. Oh, not the changing of them, but just to fall asleep. But have a sleep sound, and I wonder if that affects. Obviously,
we can actually pull up
quality.
we can actually pull up the cameras at our cab in the Amazon at the retreat center, and and turn the volume up and put it on Bluetooth on our surround sound, and you can actually listen to the live sounds of the Amazon right around us. Of course, once again though, you're having to move data to have those sounds, and so not
A
only
sound
that.
machine would be better, plugged in.
Plus,
Just get a plugged-in sound machine because I just have that app. It tracks my sleeping and
Yeah, they've started doing that to make people want to have their phones either on them, their watches or whatever.
do we need these things against our skin all the time? Do we
Exactly.
need these things beside our head? People are falling asleep with their cell phones and then waking up when they're like laying on top of their cell phone laughing about it. Oh, I fell asleep with my cell phone on. No, that's terrible. What do you think that did to your brain all night long? I mean, it's what people are doing to themselves. And it's kind of funny. We visit the Mennonites and the Amish a good bit, and the Mennonites especially. The Amish just give up on us. They don't even try to witness to us. But the Mennonites like to witness to us, and their way of witnessing is, by the way, put some shoes on, cover your knees and ankles, and quit using cell phones. They're big against technology. So it's funny, we'll go into like some of our accounts. We actually sell to the Amish, like health food stores and things of that nature, and the Mennonites. And we'll walk in, and if we have our phone, and they'll look at us and say, I see you still have those phones of the devil. And I'm like, yeah, we're trying to get away from them. Well, it's a good thing. At least they're wrong. Okay, well, it's one of those things. But it's technology in and of itself is not healthy.
But it's what we all use right now. Like you said, you're
right.
walking around. What about like Bluetooth? I like to listen to my AirPods. I have those in my ear a lot.
Well, I don't think that we're going to find in the future that we've done a lot of good to ourselves by putting EMFs this close.
In your
In my
I think
ear,
the problem is really, I think we need to be taking advantage of our speaker phones, our Bluetooths, in our cars, our
hands-free
our
type
hands-free things
stuff.
that we can to where people, and even there's nothing wrong with a pair of headphones. Sticking the things in the accessory spot of your phone and putting the things, if you even have one anymore.
Yeah,
I think they've
they've
removed
changed
those
it.
from the
Changed it
iPhones.
much.
And sticking those things in your ears. But anything that's requiring a signal that's that's attached to your body, against your body, it's not a good thing. I remember actually down in Pensacola, Florida, I met the man who was the first male in the United States to have documented breast cancer from a cell phone exposure, And what it was, he was a law enforcement officer, and he had a regular beat job. He was on patrol and out in his car. Well, he got a promotion to a desk job, but the desk job was in the jail, in the offices, which was actually below the jail. And so he ends up with his phone. He has a flip phone, the old flip phones. He has a pocket in his uniform that he just puts the flip phone in his pocket. After several months, he started itching, and then he didn't think anything about it before he ended up with a sore. Long story short, he ends up with breast cancer. And of course, from it, because it was roaming the entire time. Being that deep down in the jail, the phone was never online. So it was just sitting in his pocket roaming the whole time, trying to get a signal. And there's no point in time where your phone is working harder, producing more EMFs than when it's not getting a good signal. So it's fighting to get that signal. Also, at the very beginning of a call, before you get that connection, they say that's the most output that your phone is putting out. So it's best to wait until you get the connection. When you're calling someone, put it on speakerphone, wait until they answer, then start talking.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I'm going to try to put my phone outside of my sleeping space, and I do. I have a router that is.
And just see how it does for a few days.
So I'll take my phone, and we have these little bungees, and of course this stresses them out in the jungle, because we'll be like getting on a boat in the Amazon, and this will be dangling above the Amazon River, and they're sitting there thinking, "No, sir, your phone." But this is great because I can walk with this, and I just walk around, and I don't even have it in my hand. It just dangles, and of course if I need it, it's there fast. But something as simple as this, if this saves me from having cancer, well, great. I don't mind having it or using it. Plus, it keeps me from losing it as easy.
Sure.
But it's important to keep these things, I believe, away from us.
That helps, instead of putting it in our pocket or in our back pocket or in our front
Some
pocket.
clip that clips right beside us now.
Yeah, you see that a lot. You have the clip there.
Well, if you got this big cell phone hanging off of you, where do you put your gun?
Well, there you go. I guess on the other side.
That's true. There you go.
Well, we have so many things to talk about. We have questions to ask. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, but stay tuned and let us know if you have any questions. We're here. We're logged in on Facebook, so comment and we'll get to your questions. So we'll be right back.
You may not believe it, but it's true. The 2024 Team 1 Chevys are here. All 2324 Silverado Light Duties have 2.9% financing for 72 months. The hottest new 2024 Team 1 Chevy Blazer, 1.9% financing and no payments till April. And the #1 selling family vehicle, the Equinox, 24 models. You got it, 1.9% financing and no payments till April. Team 1 Chevrolet, home of the best people, the best service, period.
Some say college isn't for single parents or people who work full-time. I'm here to prove them wrong. I'm a first-generation American, the father of Dion, and a non-traditional student at Gadsden State Community College. As a sergeant in the Army National Guard, I've watched soldiers with degrees progress faster in their careers. So today, I'm in school, involved in the Veterans Upward Bound program, and excited to see what's in store for my career. I truly am earning my wings at Gadsden State.
I'm Alan Parnell with Parnell Insurance Agency. We've been here in Oxford and Alabama, Tallapoosa, Georgia since 1990. With Auto Owners Insurance, we're able to give customers competitive pricing along with excellent coverages. Parnell Insurance can handle all of your personal, commercial, and life insurance needs. We have a very experienced staff, both personal and commercial. All together, we've got about 125 years experience. Come see what our insurance agency can do for you in Oxford, Alabama, and Tallapoosa, Georgia.
Auto Owners Insurance.
At Campers Unlimited, we offer a no-pressure experience, no hidden fees, and great service after the sale, making us one of the fastest-growing RV dealers in the Southeast. With our second location in Oxford, we offer a great selection of over 220 campers from top brands, including Grand Design. Our mission is to help friends and family spend time together in the great outdoors. At Campers Unlimited, you aren't just a customer, you are family. Check out our inventory at campersunlimited.net or come see us at Gadsden or Oxford.
Welcome back to Truth, Health, and Wellness. I have got Dr. Matt and Deborah St. John, and I'm just enlightened. Every time I watch the show, I learn more, and today is no different. And now I'm going to put my phone on the other side of the room and maybe see if that improves my quality of sleep, and it will definitely improve my health.
For sure.
And then when you said my pets, because they sleep right there too.
Yeah, those babies have your heart.
We'll do things for our pets that we won't do for ourselves sometimes.
I know. I'm bad about that. Yeah. I started to bring one of them with me today, but I don't know. She likes to be in front of the camera, but she likes to sing. So.
We have one a few feet away from us, right behind us here. That's
really?
In our van. We'll have to have her on sometime.
Oh, please do anytime. Hey, we are pet friendly in here, and I love them. One of my guests that comes on every Wednesday, Susan Shipman, she makes homemade dog treats.
Yeah, we sell her. Yeah,
we might sell her treats at our
shop. Oh, you do?
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
I love them. Well, mine are my animals are hooked on it. Every time I open the refrigerator, now they're like, okay. Yeah. Well, let's go back to St. John's Nutrition. So your location. Let's make sure everybody is reminded of where you are located.
We're on Snow Street. We're I guess you could say behind the Quintard Mall is one way to put it. Our parking lot borders Dillard's parking lot.
Okay.
So we could be, I guess, behind Dillard's, but we're the first shopping center on the right after the mall if you turn on Snow Street from there. And we've been there about 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a long time. That's why I have gray hairs. And that's actually not why I have gray hairs. She's why I have gray hair. But anyway, that's another story. Just kidding. Not really. And then you can find us online at stjohnsnutrition.com. That's no periods or anything, abbreviations, just St. John's Nutrition, STJOHNS Nutrition.com. Facebook, you can reach us on our page on Facebook, St. John's Nutrition, and then that's a really good place to also ask us questions, to send questions at any time of night, any time during the day. We can answer those questions there.
Well, speaking of questions, I have a whole list of them here. Gosh, there's just so many. What exactly is high fructose corn syrup, and should I avoid it?
Okay, high fructose corn syrup. Of course, if you hear high fructose corn syrup, we can kind of assume, we can get an idea about where it comes from. Basically, pre-Castro Cuba, when the United States was in full control of the Cuban government, or at least the negative elements, everything was fine, and we were, the sugar cane and whatnot was easy to access, and we had, our own sugar, but then we also had sugar cane, but we were very dependent on Cuba for sugar cane. When Castro took over Cuba, and the whole Bay of Pigs thing happens, and our government decides, obviously, number one, that it needs to separate from Cuba, number two, or that it wants to separate from Cuba, number two, that we have too much dependency on, sugar cane. And so meanwhile, we had all of our farmers who were getting incentivized to grow all this corn out west. And so the farmers who grew all this corn needed places and things to do with the corn other than just, sell corn, because you can only do so much with corn. Actually, you can do a lot with corn. I really like corn. That's just me. I just like corn. And so they developed something called high fructose corn syrup. Now, it's more chemical than it is natural.
Yeah.
High fructose corn syrup has been directly linked to learning disabilities, learning issues, behavioral issues in children and adults, and also cancer as well as obesity. But that doesn't really bother the U.S. government, because they just wanted to get you guys to use this. And so that's the reason when you buy Coca-Cola in the United States, it has high fructose corn syrup. If you buy Coca-Cola in Mexico, it has cane sugar. Now you have to go pay extra for Coca-Cola at the grocery store to buy Mexican Coca-Cola so that you can get better Coca-Cola.
Because high fructose corn syrup is cheap.
Right. And so it's a matter of cost, and but they charge the same. What's strange is that they actually charge more for the imported from Mexico, because obviously you have to import the stuff from Mexico, even though we should obviously be able to buy it on our own shelves. So high fructose corn syrup is a really cheap, ineffective, low quality sweetener that's used in the United States to save money and to save companies money at the detriment of human health.
It really is, and it's very addictive.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a lot of children, and I mean adults every age. Well, I only drink one a day, but what is the effect that can have on our bodies? Even drinking 1 20-ounce soda a day.
Oh, it's amazing. There's so much that people don't know. Today, I had someone made a post that said on Facebook, and it said, "I'm just waiting for them to add the cocaine back to Coca-Cola," right? And so I thought, well, I'm going to blow this person's mind, because actually, Coca-Cola is the only corporation in the United States that has a legal right and ability through the United States Department, or the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency. So the United States DEA has allowed Coca-Cola to purchase from Peru billions of dollars worth of coca plants, coca leaf plants, which are illegal in the United States, to be processed in a facility in New Jersey where they extract the cocaine and sell it for research and for pharmaceutical purposes, and they use the coca leaf extract, which still has trace nanograms amount of cocaine, in the Coca-Cola products. So the fact is, coca leaf extract is still used in Coca-Cola. They get it from a little facility that's in New Jersey. You can Google all this. You can find out all this information out for yourself. But you know, people find it amazing and they find it intriguing. But it's like it's really just corruption,
Right.
because nanograms of cocaine have been shown to actually be somewhat addictive.
Sure.
So if they can secretly add an addictive substance to their product that no other company is allowed to have, right? Pepsi can't have it, RC Cola can't have it. None of these companies can have it, but Coca-Cola sure can. And they get to put it in their product and get you addicted to their product faster. I'm not against Coca-Cola. Well, maybe I am, but I'm not against the Coca-Cola plant here or the people who work there. My brother worked there for decades. But the fact is, you know, how evil is it to be selling something that is known to either make someone addicted to your product or that's absolutely just unhealthy? And they're doing both. They're selling stuff with high fructose corn syrup and with coca leaf extract with nanograms of pure cocaine. It's really wild.
It is wild.
And I invite anybody, please don't just believe me about anything unless you just know me well enough to believe me. Otherwise, go check it out for yourself, because it's really wild when you start going down these rabbit holes.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting
Careful,
rabbits.
though.
Yeah, that's what people tell
But
me.
that's okay, because then the more that we know, the more that we can better equip ourselves for health.
Exactly.
Right.
Because it's our bodies. We are in control of what we put in our bodies.
Well, isn't it strange to not want to know what's in things?
There's people that have no idea.
Or don't
and they
want to
walk
know.
around blind, like they, you know.
And people are like, well, oh, how on earth did they just not even, test a vaccine? And, before you know it, they just whip a vaccine out and people just start taking it. Well, I mean, how? Well, the same reason that they turn up their soda and don't even look at the ingredient labels. They trust these companies that we know to be corrupt. It's, all these big megacorps that are Vanguard or BlackRock owned are all corrupt. You can't trust any of them, and people are just out trusting them left and right.
Putting things in their body that they're not aware, and sometimes they just I would rather just not know.
Yeah.
I like the way it
That's-
tastes. I'd rather not know.
Oh, I've had someone who's battled 3 or 4 different forms of cancer scream at me, just scream at me about saying I'm not going to change how I live or how I eat, and I'm like, well, remind me of that the next time that you develop the next form of cancer.
Yeah. And that's a choice, I guess, some people
It is
make.
a
And the
choice.
diet drinks with the aspartame, I mean, that's so dangerous.
And none of them are there for any other reason than to profit or to make money, to cut
to get
corners.
you hooked and
Right, to either save the manufacturer money, make the manufacturer money, or to make you dependent, or to, there's always a reason. And that's, it's interesting because there's a company like Olipop. Olipop is a little soda company that decided, you know what, let's just not make sodas that hopefully aren't adverse to you. Let's make sodas that are actually good for you. So they make these little sodas that have prebiotics and probiotics, and they're full of herbs and everything else. And so it's really neat to watch companies like that come out of nowhere and say, you know what, we're going to make a difference. We're going to try and do something that's natural and healthy and that'll change lives.
That was my next question, is what are the things that you could drink? What are some of the substitutes? If someone, water, of course, we all need water, but if somebody wants to change it up, what are some healthy?
Well, it's wild too, because, for example, there's a company called Reeds, R-E-E-D-S. They make a ginger beer or a ginger brew or a ginger ale, and they're non-alcoholic. I think they make some alcoholic ones, but they don't sell it in Alabama. But this company is known as a natural ginger company, and one bottle of their ginger has around 17 grams of fresh ginger. That's 17,000 milligrams.
Wow.
So people will use it a lot for stomach aches, for stomach problems, but there's so much cane sugar in it that it makes a lot of people not want to drink their drinks, because there's like 30 or 40 grams of sugar in it.
Oh.
From cane sugar. Okay, well, that's a lot of sugar for anyone. So they started using monk fruit and erythritol. Erythritol is a sugar alcohol that's supposedly natural. They've never done any long-term tests for high doses of its use, but they did low tolerability tests or tolerability tests for low doses, and they said, oh, well, it's fairly safe. It looks like it's safe, and if you get too much, it just causes you to have a laxative effect. Well, the problem is that they didn't do these long-term high-dose studies, and what they're doing is they're using tons of erythritol now in drinks and things that are supposed to be natural, but they're really not natural, because this amount of erythritol is not natural to the body. And actually, they did a study where they had 3 concurrent studies showing that erythritol caused heart murmurs, heart palpitations, and possibly even stroke.
Wow.
And we had literally, we were drinking these ginger ales, right, before we would go to the Amazon.
Sure.
So we would go to the Amazon, and we would quit drinking the ginger ales. And so what would happen would be, I would start feeling progressively worse as we were here in the United States. You know, getting a little spoiled, eating a little too much, not eating the right foods. And so then we're also, of course, drinking these ginger ale drinks. We go to Peru, we quit, they don't have the ginger ale drinks there, so we don't drink them. Well, all of a sudden, by the time we come back to Peru, I'm feeling amazing. My heart's better, I'm not having any palpitations, I'm not having any issues whatsoever. I'm like, Peru is just that healthy for us. No, it is, that's true, but the fact is that we had quit drinking those drinks every time before, or when we were in Peru, and we just realized that the drinks were what was causing the problem.
Wow. So you were able to cut those out.
Yeah, a health drink.
And haven't had an issue since.
No.
Yeah.
Neither of us.
Neither.
So not everything that is labeled as healthy is actually healthy.
Probably 75% of what's labeled as healthy isn't.
And sometimes even more unhealthy. I read a study about some of these fruit juices that are in the grocery stores, the naked juices, I think.
Oh, they're full of sugar and
so
all
much
kind
sugar,
of
even more than some of the, the
exactly.
sodas even.
Well, you know, and if it's on, this is what I really would recommend people do is if you are dealing with a company, if you're dealing with a product, look up who owns it, and once you find out, like say, like Prana, there's a pants brand, or there's a company called Prana that we're looking at their outdoor stuff, and we're like, well, we really like their clothes because a lot of their clothes are organic. They use organic cotton. They don't use a bunch of plastics. So we were really enjoying Prana. Well, all of a sudden, Prana started, they started changing. It didn't seem right. Well, we dug into it and come to find out Columbia had purchased Prana, right? Columbia, of course, is owned by Vanguard BlackRock. So Columbia, the megacorp, consumes Prana, the smaller company that's trying to do a good thing. Of course, they're going to pretend we're not going to mess with Prana. We're going to continue to do these good things. But the fact is, the devil owns them now. And the fact is,
It never stays the
it
same.
never stays the same. So these companies, you need to know who you're dealing with. Look at the brands. Look at where things are manufactured. Look at, I mean, people are on this Temu, and all these different
Chinese
things.
websites.
I mean, these websites where they're getting all kind of viruses in their computers, viruses in their homes, viruses in their bodies, from dealing with these countries and places that are selling you garbage, and they're not for us. They're not for the success of the average American citizen. So if you're dealing with companies that you can't trust, then you're going to get results that you're probably not wanting to have.
Well, at St. John's, we do a lot of research on all the brands that we carry. Our own brand, we're very particular about what we put in it.
Our raw materials.
And then everything we order in, it has to be, owned someone that's not corporate.
Right. There's a company called Capsugel, and Capsugel is the primary capsule supplier for almost every nutritional supplement company on the earth. Okay. Well, a few years ago, Capsugel changed, and I noticed that they kind of seem different. They seem more professional in some ways, but I was kind of curious. Come to find out, Pfizer bought Capsugel, the drug company Pfizer. So the drug company Pfizer knows that if they can buy Capsugel, they don't even have to buy up as much as the dietary supplement industry, which these companies have bought up the majority of it. Schwab, Monsanto or Bayer, all these different companies are the ones, and so they gobble up these nutrition companies, and they put them under there, and then they control them. During the 70s and the 80s, they said, supplements are garbage, it's snake oil, that stuff doesn't work. In the 90s, the German E-Commission came up with all of these, like 930 studies on various herbs showing their, the effectiveness. Wow. And this is the German government. So now the drug companies are scurrying around trying to figure out, what do we do? Well, if you can't beat them, buy them. So they've been spending the past 20, 30 years buying up as much of our industry as they can. So you gotta be careful.
I'm glad to know that there are stores that will carry things that we can be proud to put into our bodies and know that it's going to be good for us. So make sure that if you have any other questions, I can't believe our time is already up. I have so many more questions. I want to sit here for another hour. But we can do this again another time. And you can always go by St. John's Nutrition right there on Snow Street in Oxford, and they are available to answer questions and to talk about their products that they suggest to their clients there. So is there anything else you want to leave our viewers with?
That's about it. I would love for people to come by and see us and call us, send us messages on Facebook. No question is probably a question that we haven't answered before, or at least had thrown at us. And so it's there's a lot of people hurting right now, a lot of people sick, a a lot of people that are hurting on the inside and hurting mentally that can be helped through God's creation, and that's what we're here for.
Well, thank you all so much, and thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you back here next week. Have a great evening.